Hi, everybody. It's very glad for me to be here. I am Jose Manuel Magallanes. I am speaking from Peru. I am in Lima right now, having not having the best of all times here due to COVID, and I'm here to share some of my experience dealing precisely with that. How all these problems that data scientists have had dealing with the COVID-related data. So, as I was saying, I have named this presentation I have called this presentation Challenges to Data Science Effectiveness in Times of Political Crisis in Developing Countries, right? The context, of course, is, as the image suggests, COVID, right? It has a lot of characteristics that I believe were worth highlighting. Let me show you. So this sequence of steps, okay, I'm going to use just to make my case, right? So that's what I said, that it is a simplification, of course, but maybe it will help us understand that most of us follow this cycle, right? Writing from evidence, then into problem, then into causation, and then intervention, evaluation, learning, and communication, right? And there are these activities that are related to that, yeah, from gathering until socializing, right? And of course, you expect to going back to previous state as expected. Now, let me use this model and then insert or introduce the word crisis, right? So crisis, according to the Cambridge Dictionary, is a time of great disagreement, confusion, or suffering. Okay, so I like this definition because it applies very well to the circumstances everybody have been living, right? With different intensity, of course, but remember that this is the case of a developing country. Right? Let me use the concepts about a definition of problems that this book on leadership has, right? Heifetz and Linsky mentioned that there are two kinds of problems, right? Technical and political. The technical problems are the ones who, in a way, we know how to deal with, and our knowledge is going to be of value. And the adaptive problems, when basically we are learning every time what's going on, we really don't know how to deal with it. Okay. However, it doesn't matter if we don't know how to deal with it. We will deal with it anyway. It doesn't mean that we're going to be as successful as we deal with known problems. Right? I believe, and I consider COVID was such a case. Right. So if you don't remember anything else from this talk, maybe you remember. I hope you remember at least, right? If we are doing data and we are producing information, right? Different stages of this cycle that I showed you at the beginning, right? The thing is that we can be doing our best, but the fact is that we are the ones who are producing information, and that information are going to be the answers, right? In some way, are going to be the main input for political decision makers, right? The problem is that this anxiety during this time of crisis makes everybody look for answers, right? If we don't give the answers, somebody can give it, even if they are fake news. Okay, we have all suffered of that too. So people need answers, and during this process, they are not going to wait until we have a clear picture. They want to know how we are collecting. They want to know what the problem is. They want to know what the causes are. They want to know what we are doing. They want to know what we found. Okay, they want to know what we learned. Okay, so they want to know all the time. Sometimes it's just want to know. Maybe knowing doesn't solve much, but that's how it works. So the government in general the government and experts, of course, do not have clear answers. That's what I say here. Okay, so they have always this question, right? What do they say? What can they say today that they will not need to deny in the future, right? Okay, so that's very important to mention. Then, so let me go to some of these details, right? when we talk about evidence, right? What we mean by evidence when we produce or we gather data, right? That is going to challenge our best efforts, right? Because the data is not there. So the data is appearing by little chunks. It is not available. It is, we are learning to know what kind of data we're going to use. And if that is happening, it is also poorly aggregated. If we have, of course, we need different kinds of data, not just the people that are dying or the people that are positive, but a lot of different data. And it comes from different organizations. So besides being poor, it is not integrated, and it will not be on time. Okay, it is very sad when you are talking to the president of a country, and you give him some data, and he receives call from another state in the country, and other local governments have different data than the one you're producing, because it is not on time. So everybody has different times for reporting, right? So it looks as though nobody knows what's going on. Okay. Sometimes when you put more time to know about a problem, you get to know it better, right? But in this case of complexity during crisis, right? What first started as a health problem, as time passes, it becomes a health and labor problem, and then becomes a health and labor and economics problem, and then a health, labor, economics, and transportation problem, and so on. Okay, so you are learning it was not just a health problem. Okay, and then since it is becoming so complex, right? As I mentioned, there is this drunk dark searcher bias, right? Where you just search for answers where it is easy to look for answers, right? Not in the right place. It is not. There is not much time to make your best effort. When people want to know what a cause, right? But there is no. We don't have. It is difficult to promise that you're going to find a silver bullet to solve the whole thing. Okay, and you will see that we will try to do our best using the best approaches that we have. Okay, but in general, if we use that, we will do the same things that we did with different sicknesses or different pandemics, and maybe it is different. And maybe with every decision we make, due to path dependence, we may be kind of far from the best answer we might have been given. When we want to do so, if everything else was a problem, then when we want to intervene, we want to give some help, right? Since everything is so unreliable, even though we do our best to inform the situation, right? There is a good excuse for people not to believe in exactly what you're saying. So again, politics is at work, and so it is difficult to prioritize. It is difficult to say which are the regions who are worse, because the ones who are in the boundaries maybe could have been not that worse, and so on, right? So it is difficult to know where to send the help, right? In maybe in other countries when you don't have that idea, but in Peru, everything comes to the capital city, and then we have to distribute some things around the country, right? So that distribution process is what gets affected. Okay, and then what happens at the end, right? We don't have nothing clear to say, and we are talking not about years of study. We are talking about weeks, right? After 15 days, people want clear answers. Okay, and how to tell the truth, right? How can a political leader accept everything that we said before with all the data that was available, as poor as it was, right? How can they tell the truth? Is it better to say it is good for them to tell the truth? As you will see, even if you don't have to be a developing country to be in this situation, right? So there are strange things that happen, right? At the end, or as it goes, you have professional silos of data. They are not comprehensive. They are contradictory, and sometimes you feel that the data is not a priority, right? People, right? During the pandemics, it is very crazy. because as people want answers, they start, at least I'm saying this for the kind of country I work for, right? There is high rotation. So sometimes you start firing people because you believe that they are not good enough. And so they change a lot. Like a new one comes, they promise the same, or they promise better things. And sometimes they are removed again, they are fired again, right? And it is not specific during this time of crisis what the role of everybody was, right? There is also the role of vendors, right? It is. I have experienced firsthand, right? A lot of maybe good intentions, but it is difficult. It is difficult that they come to tell you, hey, maybe you want a new technology to organize your data, and I say, well, and I think, well, I don't have much nice to organize, okay? But sometimes they see this as a new opportunity to sell their products, and they even want to give you free versions. And that, what I mean by this is that maybe some organizations decide to go for some vendor, and then they will need to rebuild some systems again, right? So that may be happening in different levels of government, right? The decision makers, right? So they have they don't know, okay, because they have this data science analytic team working on COVID. They have also this expert opinion, and they have other kind of advisors. At the end, it is very difficult to make sense of everything. So it is trusting the gut they have or the data, right? And the role of experts, as you might have seen, is not unanimous. It's not unique. It's not homogeneous, right? Not everybody is thinking the same thing, even though it is. Of course, you can expect that, but I don't know what's going on or what's working there. Maybe is that some experts like TB more than others, and they have a lot of attention all the time because they are contradicting other expert who is speaking and so on, right? So these are difficult times. A data analyst needs to have clear the process he or she should follow. But there are very difficult conditions in a particular time of crisis. And the crisis like this, especially in countries like mine, has shaken so much the institutions that it was very difficult to conduct a serious or professional work. And maybe it was not possible at all. That will be all. I hope you like my presentation, and thank you very much. And I'll be open to any further discussion. Thank you.